Hey, I've got a question for you. What do these two things have in common? These being the Mi50 Radeon Instinct with 32 gigabytes of HBM2 high-speed memory. And these RX 7900 XTXs with 24 gigabytes of high-speed memory. If you guessed they're both pretty expensive graphics cards, you'd be right. If you guessed they both do LLM inferencing quite well, you'd be right. Hey, howdy y'all, welcome back to the show. It's your man David with Country Boy Computers. But if you'd also guessed that they're all components in Country Boy Computers Franken Monster AI Test Bench, then you'd also be right. Today, we're going to run Qwen3-235b. That's right, 235 billion parameter model on our 4 GPU Linux build. The reason, you ask? Well, I'm quite intrigued, and I've had several commenters ask to highlight AMD's AI Plus 395 chip. One of the offerings that exists in the market is this. GMKtec's Evo X2. It comes with 128 gigabytes of system memory, which is split and shared between the CPU and the integrated Radeon 8060S, which, as you're aware, is quite the contender. But what I'm most paying attention to in today's video is this claim. If you visit the GMKtec website for the Evo X2, they have some claims on there for what you can run with this little device. Now, if you recall, in an earlier video, we did run the gpt-oss 120b with dual Mi50s. And you can see we scored pretty good there. When we had a little bit of overflow to the CPU, when we put some experts on the CPU, if my memory serves, we got 55 tokens a second on gpt-oss 120b. But then when we threw that third GPU on there, that Radeon 7, to take all of the KV cache and all of the layers to GPU, I think we bumped up into the 80s, if my memory serves me correct. And for the Qwen3-235b, that's a mixture of experts model that runs really fast anyhow. So I'm not really concerned with that score. But the gpt-oss 120b, we got that beat. What about the 235? That's the one I'm interested in. And getting 11 tokens a second. Challenge accepted. All right, we are booted up, and I will say the system is a little bit unstable, so I hope I can get through all this testing without a crash. This is Ubuntu 24. In the past, when I'd run both versions of Graphics 906, be it the Mi50s along with the Radeon 7s, I was required to roll back the kernel to 6.5, but I couldn't get that to boot with this setup. So I'm running kernel 6.17, sorry. And it's working okay, but it is unstable. So anyway, let me get this going. I wanted you to be able to see the parameters there for loading this model up. I'm going to do Vulkan first and llama.cpp. Now, as a reminder, this app that you see on the left side of my screen is called Mission Center. It is available in the App Center, and it works pretty good. What I wanted you to pay attention to is my 4 GPUs here. I do have the X99 Asus workstation, X99E workstation board. So every single card is running at Gen 3 16 lanes, all 4 of them. I did have a Threadripper board. Well, I'll show you at the end. Didn't work out. Had an unfortunate incident. So anyway, we're going to be running on Gen 3 today. But this model is 112 gigabytes. And this is the Qwen3 of Qwen3-235b, 235 billion parameters loading across 4 GPUs. You can see the Mi50 0 here has 29.3 gigs in VRAM, 29.3 in the second one, 22.8, 23.4. All slots are idle, 162 watts, 161. And I've redone my Llama bench a little bit so that it shows the prompt processing in addition to the response processing, token processing. It's getting cranked up, 450, 460, 395, 394. All right, 512 tokens passes through and then it clears itself out, so we don't get any crazy numbers on the first run compared to 2, 3, 4, 5. 393 watts. Pass 1's 15.39 tokens. Pass 2, 15.45 tokens. 395 watts. 396. 15.28 tokens per second. And I've tried numerous settings on Llama. The one that really surprises me, if you split this model via row instead of layer, the scores drop by like 40% and get like 6 and 7, 8 tokens a second instead of in the mid 15s. So there you have it. First run on Vulkan, we averaged 54 tokens prompt processing, 15.34 token generation with a time to the first token 73.8 or 7,380 milliseconds. So I'm gonna shut her down and we'll switch over to the hip and get that rocking. All right, I just want to show you here my directory path is build hip, which I did build it for both of these architectures. I just did graphics 906, graphics 1100. I'll get that model loaded. It's going to take it just a minute. 112 gigabytes being loaded onto these 4 GPUs. Bear with me. All right, all slots are idle. Our NVMe is back down to 0. Llama Bench 2. Here we go. Qwen3-235b. 471, 456, 457, 405, 423, 506. If you look back to the testing, I guess that was the LLM Wars video 2. I ran a lot of these GPUs with their native backend on llama.cpp, be it ROCm or CUDA, and then I compared that to Vulkan I had a chart linked to my website, and it was interesting. The AMD cards from Mi50 and back perform a lot better with ROCm backend or hip, and then the 7900 XTX and then the 9070 and everything newer perform way better with just the Vulkan backend. So here you can see the Mi50s processing wise are the weakest link in our GPUs here. So ROCm gives them a bump and we're up to in the 16. So PP15 prompt processing, 126 tokens per run. Token generation, 16.39 tokens a second per run. And the average time to the first token, quite a bit difference. Yes, everything is basically, the prompt was double speed and the time to the first token was half speed of Vulkan. So interesting. Let's try LMstudio. Alright, for LMstudio, I just download the app image, and then you have to run the change mod plus X and the name of the file in order to make it executable. But then you just launch that one file. You have to have Fuse installed on your system as well. But it launches the app without any kind of installation. And I'm selecting my hardware, and I was thinking that ROCm was working for all the GPUs, but it's only seeing my 7900s unless I switch over to Vulkan, and then it sees the Mi50s. So I guess I'm just going to do the Vulkan run on LMstudio, and I do have the server running so that I can ping the port with my Python script, and we'll get her loaded here. Bear with me. All right, here we go. That took a little bit longer than on llama.cpp. 255, 270, 280, 293, 385, 310. It's keeping it under 400 watts. But we're seeing just about the exact same scores as we did on llama.cpp with the Vulkan backend, which makes sense. And after this test runs, I'll do a prompt live action so you can actually see what it looks like keying in a response or a question and then waiting for the response back. All right, there's our results. 296 tokens a second prompt processing. That seems like a glitch on runs 3, 4, and 5. Those are really high numbers, but 15.49 tokens a second. And then time to the first token, 44.33 milliseconds. And like I said I was going to do, I'll close this. Definitely don't want to close that. But let's do a new chat. And we'll have her explain quantum computing and superposition entanglement. All right, I'll finish up here. It's pulling over 400 watts, 410 to 400 watts, bouncing around. And you can see, I mean, 235 billion parameters. It's a huge model, 112 gigabyte model. It's Qwen3-235. But it runs. I was real interested to get this loaded and try it out. And I'm going to wrap it up. Now, while I may lack the marbles, you know, the marbles to purchase the GMKtec Evo X2, I have purchased the GMKtec Evo T1, and I'm still testing it and stretching it and breaking it in. And I'm not quite ready to give you guys an opinion on it yet, so I'll save that for another video. But the Evo X2, it's definitely on my radar. Now this is the X99 Asus E workstation board. Again, I got a new one. I still have the old one over there that I was having so much trouble with the pins. That's a project for another day. I did want to run this, and actually I'd gotten a Threadripper board, and a screw was playing peekaboo with me down behind the RAM slots. And I turned it on. It worked fine. I turned it on after I got it set up. If the proclamations are accurate, in GMKtec's Evo X2 with that AI Max Plus 395 by AMD actually does achieve 11 tokens a second on a 235b model, that would be most impressive. Most impressive. You know what I'm saying? Something that size. I mean, compared to this is a honking mess. There's a better way to get this set up. The system was very unstable. Running with that, the latest kernel, 6.17, was the only way I could get it to boot. Now, I know that the rocblas files with the graphics 906 tensor files are being pulled from the internet. I still have mine on one of my hard drives. I'm going to post it to my site, and I'll put a link in the description where if you need those 906 files, you can get them. I think the new versions are just giving you 2 graphics 906 tensor files, when the one from the previous ROCm had 156 graphics 906 tensor files. So if you need them, I've got them. I'm going to share them with you. I don't know why they're taking them down if we need them to operate these cards. Last thought. It's my understanding that the Evo X2 in its max configuration has 128 gigabytes of the 8000 megatransfer low voltage RAM installed. And of that, only 96 gigabytes can be directed to the GPU. And this model is 112 gigabytes. So is that 11 tokens a second having it split and offload to the CPU in addition to running on the GPU, or is everything being run on the CPU? I don't know. If somebody else has run this and verified their claims, let us know, because that's incredible for a little bitty box to pull that. And I'm sure it's low wattage. I believe it's rated 130 watts, maybe I'm wrong, but I mean, you saw our numbers, 450 watts. That's 3 times what that little box is claiming. So that's quite an interesting piece of technology. I'm going to grow some marbles, and we're going to get that on the channel here real soon. As always, you guys have an awesome day. Thank you for watching. Appreciate your time. Hey, any chess players out there? One of my favorite pastimes is to get on chess.com app on my phone and play some 10-minute, fast, rapid speed games of chess. David Chuck is my username. Look me up. Challenge me to a match. We'll see y'all around.